I've mentally rehearsed meeting Oprah a bunch.
I mentally rehearsed this.
Oh!
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow.
Welcome back to the Road to Self-Love. It's your boy Paul Fishman, self-love coach and you do you activist, joined today by Mindi Huebner. She is a life on purpose coach, which I'm all about, living life on purpose. So, Mindi, you're a fan of the show. I'm so excited that you're here, and you know that I love asking my guests to just introduce themselves because self-love is all about your individuality and who you are and how you want to be seen. So tell them who you are, why you're here, what to do, all that jazz.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Mindi Huebner, Life on Purpose coach. I coach female entrepreneurs to make more money by prioritizing themselves to live body, mind, and soul. I say energy is our currency for all of us, and we're fooling ourselves to think that we can make any kind of impact, make any more money. And before anybody gets all weird about, like, money is an amazing tool that you can use to do great things. And so we need it, you know? So yes, I help female entrepreneurs make more money by having more energy, like really focusing on themselves, rest, nutrition, love, movement, like all of those things where they tend to drop the ball. Be like, no, I'm just gonna sit at my laptop for 12 hours a day and I'm gonna live on caffeine and sugar and never move my body, and then I'm gonna scale to $1 million business. Not happening. Not happening.
I have a feeling that you were probably at one point not as energized and probably in line with more of your ideal client than who you are as an individual. So I'd love to know, Mindi, your origin story around becoming a life on purpose coach.
I have coached, mentored, guided all of my adult life, really, in some way, shape, or form. I was in direct sales for 20 years and led a large team, and I trained nationally for my company. So, like, teaching and training has always been at my heart. In direct sales, I developed a great passion for sugar. And the people would ask me, like, what's the worst part about your job? All the snacks, like, all the treats people put out at a party. And so I literally, like, identified as a junk food junkie and saw, like, eventually saw how it drained me, how, you know, that whole blood sugar roller coaster, all of those kinds of things, you know, that I could show up better when I showed up better energetically, you know, in my mind, in what I was feeding myself, all those kinds of things. Not to say that I don't, you know, love a good slice of carrot cake.
I mean, if someone's hearing this and they're like, oh, I don't have a choice. Like, you know, I've got the kids, I have the family, I've got the job that I have to pay the bills. Like, I know you work with female entrepreneurs, but like, to get to that point, and for me, I feel like there's a lot of shame around not wanting to be an entrepreneur, right? Because there are some people who just don't want to be an entrepreneur, especially in like the wellness space. So what would you say to the people who are just like, oh, I can't choose?
Okay, so entrepreneur, yeah, entrepreneur or not, everything is a choice. Saying I can't choose is you choosing not to choose. I mean, I know somebody's like, yeah, whatever, screw you. Guess what? You are powerful enough to create a reality that you do like. I
mean, I gotta go create that life that I like. I'm so inspired right now.
Let's talk about not entrepreneurs again and moms. Like, I just met someone recently, and she helps moms, young moms, really embrace their lives and be like a guiding force to their families. And I loved this reframe. She's like, people hate to change diapers. Moms hate to change diapers. Like, and she goes, but you get to change. And so if you can reframe that, you get to clean up after Hatcher, right? You get to, which means you have this amazing animal in your life and you get to take care of him and you get to have his love. And you know, it's really, it's all perspective about what we get to do and what we have to do. Quit fighting for your limitations and start fighting for your limitlessness.
I'm curious, like, what is a major challenge that you've overcome in your life by just switching that mindset and reframing that?
everything, to be honest with you. Like not realizing that energetically, like the feelings in your body, just the way that you feel, the amount of energy that you bring to something, how when you say I have to, I should, those words, how they steal your energy.
So if we're thinking like first few steps, like if the people are hearing this and they're just like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that it was that easy, but also fear comes up, all of that nonsense, limiting themselves from thinking that they're worthy of saying I get to over I have to. Like, what's the first step? When
you hear the words like I am worthy and you hear them, then the next step is, what does that look like when I try that on? Because if they're not ready, if they're in the place of not worthy, okay, well, let's pretend. Let's try it on. If you were worthy, what would it look like? What would you look like? What would the day look like? What would the morning look like if you were worthy of saying, I get to choose how I show up? I have a client who says, I revoke your access to a habit that is limiting them or bringing them down, you know?
I'm really intrigued to know if there are any other word swaps that you are really passionate about.
I'm so big on the get to, like switching get to for have to, and even get to for should. Like, or that I think that's like my main one.
So I have this game that I love to play. It's called We're Not Really Strangers, and I have some red cards right down here. I would love for you to pull one of the cards, and you're just gonna read it out loud.
Swap seats with your partner.
Okay, let's do it. I'm just kidding.
So it says, when was the last time you surprised yourself? I have surprised myself-ish on this trip. So I live in southeastern Wisconsin. I'm a Southern California native, and my mom and my sister, my youngest daughter, live here, and I have to...
Ooh, I just said have to.
I get to lay down some stories that I can tell myself about old ways of being, right? You know, dynamics in relationships and things like that. And so I surprised myself with really committing 100% to a new way of showing up just in my mind. Like no one else would know, but it was this gift that I was giving myself about putting a meaning on something or making an assumption about something.
It's really cool. There's no right or wrong way to answer these questions. I've been surprising myself on how good I'm allowing myself to feel in my current body, which is something that it isn't the norm for me. So it's been a really interesting surprise that keeps on popping up, being like, wow, I feel really good right now, really content, really just like stable. I've been doing a lot of like physical healing work, mental and emotional work as well, and I don't give myself enough credit, but it's been like a really exciting journey to be on. Can you talk about limiting beliefs? What is a limiting belief? Limiting beliefs.
They're a belief that we have that stops us from, achieving something. We don't even realize what is a limiting belief to us sometimes until something comes up, and all of a sudden this limiting belief bubbles up of, oh, I can't do that. I can't make more money than my spouse. I can't. And you're like, where did that even come from?
Well, it's time for our next road trip game, and the road trip game I play with every single person. We are going to play Fuck, Marry, Kill. Have to, limiting beliefs, and I'll just give it to you, get to.
Oh, okay. Have to, get to, and limiting beliefs. So yeah, we're killing have to. We are making sweet, passionate love to get to. We gotta marry limiting beliefs.
Really?
No, that doesn't work either. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my thought. You fuck your limiting beliefs because you make sweet, passionate love to them so that you can experience them, and then you get to move through them after you kick them out, and then you marry it.
Okay.
I also always want to know, like, what does self-love mean to you?
I love that the show is called The Road to Self-Love, because self-love is such a journey. It's not static. It's not like this is self-love, at least not for me. Self-love is moving my body as a get to, not a have to.
For me, moving body is self-care. So I would love for you to break down why body movement is self-love for you. Just so you can lay it out.
Yeah. They are sisters to me, self-love and self-care. And I truly do love my body. And so I feel that when I move it, I am showing it how much I love it. And movement doesn't necessarily mean a spin class or, you know, going out for a run. It's going for a walk. It's a couple stretches. It's knowing that this is a gift to be able to move this body. And so I'm going to continue to love myself and show other people that love by making time. So it's truly loving yourself to me. I mean, I feel like moving is loving. It's important for me to do that, to remind myself how valuable I am and how loved I am.